On Monday, Pat Fitzgerald had his typical weekly press conference where he spoke a little bit about the Penn State game, but what caught my eye was how he talked about Ryan Field.
You are Locked On Northwestern, your daily podcast on the Northwestern Wildcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in. This is Locked On Northwestern, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Carter Bird, and thank you for making Locked On Northwestern your first listen every day. We're available wherever you get your podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever. We're also on YouTube. Make sure you search Locked On Northwestern. Make sure wherever you're listening, you subscribe. Turn on notifications. Make sure you leave a comment or a review. And we want to get your feedback and make this show as good as it can be. I also would like to shout out our friends at Simply Safe. Today's episode of Locked On Northwestern is sponsored by Simply Safe Home Security with Fast Protect technology exclusively from Simply Safe. 24/7 monitoring agents capture evidence to accurately verify a threat for faster police response. There's no safe like Simply Safe. Visit simplysafe.com/lockedoncollege for more. All right, so Pat Fitzgerald, he had his press conference this week where he spoke about the Penn State game, and we're going to start there. But then he talked about Ryan Field, and that's where I think this gets really, really interesting and really fun. But speaking about that Penn State game, I mean, yes, it's a loss, and yes, he's disappointed about the loss. But I thought he was proud with how the team fought, and that's something that I saw too. I thought that Northwestern team went on the road in a hostile environment and acquitted itself well. Played pretty good football, especially on defense. It was really, really, really impressive. But when Fitz was talking about the game, I mean, obviously didn't go the way that they wanted. Said that there were some missed opportunities out there. Didn't take advantage of it for sure. But he talked about the players of the week, and he started on offense with Peter Skoronski. No surprise there. He's been basically the anchor of this team on offense, especially all year long. I mean, future first-round pick here, top 15 pick, number one offensive tackle in college football. He just credited him for how consistent he was throughout the game against Penn State. And, I mean, that's who he's been all year. He's been the most constant and consistent force on the offensive line, and it's kind of helped be the anchor for that group, helped bring that group along. I think that you would see a very different Northwestern offensive line if Peter Skoronski was not there. On defense, cornerback Cam Mitchell, no surprise there. Your players of the week are a couple leaders on the team there. Cam Mitchell made a ton of plays in the game, according to Fitz, and according to anybody who watched the game. You saw him a lot in the backfield too, getting pressure on the quarterback. He had a sack. It was certainly a great game for him. He made 21 plays at the point of attack in that game, and I think that is truly amazing when you go back and look at it, just because Fitz even talked about it. He said that in his career, he really hasn't seen a corner do something like that. I mean, Fitz talked about how he's been around the game for so long, and he's been around the game for almost 40 years, and he's never seen a corner have an impact like that in the game, be that physical and at the point of attack that often. You saw him continue to make plays for the defense. He was involved in those fumbles that were forced and recovered by Northwestern. It certainly was a big game by him. Fitz also shouted out the Pride Shield and specifically mentioned Xander Mueller. Um, he mentioned Sean McLaughlin and Devin O'Rourke. Said that they were really solid all game long and helped limit that Penn State offense. Then Fitz talked about the offensive playmaker, who was Jacob Gill, and he said that, look, I mean, he had the explosive play on offense. He had the explosive 47-yard touchdown catch, helped get Northwestern on the board there, and really, I felt gave that Northwestern team some life there in the second half. On defense, it's Bryce Gallagher, and that shouldn't be a surprise at all. Your leader, your Mike linebacker, involved in 3 turnovers there. He just consistently finds a way to make plays all over the field. I mean, he had a big interception that was a great catch. Fitz even laughed at the fact that that play stood as called and was not, I guess, confirmed, because he said every bit of evidence, and every bit of evidence I saw, it certainly seemed like it was a very, very solid catch on Bryce Gallagher's end. Then he obviously had the forced fumble and the recovered fumble. He's playing good ball right now. He's coming downhill. He's making plays, and he's the leader of this defense. Fitz even, I mean, he talked about the family that he comes from. I mean, Fitz has gotten to coach multiple Gallaghers here, and I mean, it's special. And Bryce, just like his brother, I mean, he's a special player, and he's a captain, and he's the Mike linebacker for a reason. And then, I mean, you ended up hearing later in the press conference when Garnett Hollis Jr. Got on the mic, he spoke about how Bryce Gallagher is that leader for him, and he brings the guys on that defense together. They depend on him to make plays, and he consistently goes out and does that. I mean, I know early in the year I had concerns about his speed, but I really do feel like he showed you something in this Penn State game that I think you have to respect, just how he seemed to be almost like a magnet for the football in that game. And yeah, I mean, it really was impressive. Anytime that you can be a part of 3 turnovers and you can help your defense get 5 turnovers, really stout performance by that Northwestern defense on Saturday. And then Fitz finally, he shouted out the practice players of the week, which were Blake Van Buren on offense, Tyler Haskins on defense, and Jake Arthurs on special teams. But all in all, I think that it almost seems like there's a sense of this team can take something and move forward with these with what they saw on Saturday, the performance that they got. And I think that that's encouraging. If you can continue to get that team moving in the right direction, continue to build, you get a Wisconsin team that we'll dive into tomorrow. Very, very interesting team going through their own, like, a significant transition on their end. So I think could be some good to that for Northwestern. There also could be some things that they have to kind of adjust for. So that'll be interesting as we look forward to that tomorrow. Before we move on to Ryan Field, let's talk about our friends at Simply Safe. The numbers don't lie. In the last decade, over 4 million people have chosen Simply Safe Home Security to protect their home. You don't earn the trust of that many people without doing something right. At Simply Safe, your safety is the only thing that matters. I know, because I use Simply Safe for my own home. They protect you with their cutting-edge security technology powered by 24/7 professional monitoring agents who always have your back. With those 24/7 professional monitoring agents, Simply Safe's agents call you the moment a threat is detected and dispatch the police or first responders in an emergency, even if you're not home or can't be reached. Simply Safe blankets your home in protection with advanced sensors for every room, window, and door. HD security cameras for inside and outside your home. Smarter ways to detect motion that only alert you when a threat is real. And even hazard sensors that instantly detect fires, floods, and other threats to your home. Our monitoring experts use proprietary advanced response technology to visually confirm when a break in is real so you can get the highest priority police dispatch. Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafe.com/lockedoncollege. Save 20% on your SimpliSafe security system when you sign up for an interactive monitoring plan and get your first month free. Visit simplysafe.com/lockedoncollege to learn more. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. All right. So now that we've heard about our friends at SimpliSafe, let's talk about Ryan Field. And we're going to recap what we talked about on Friday. And we talked about how Ryan Field, as we know it, is not going to exist after the end of the 2023 season. We're going to see it demolished and then slowly rebuilt. And that new capacity structure, new Ryan Field, is going to be 35,000 people. It's going to be 12,000 seats smaller. Has very much a futuristic look. And it'll look bigger on TV, and it'll look more filled in on TV. And it'll make the Northwestern crowds look significantly more packed. It was part of a very, very large fundraising campaign for all sorts of things. But stadium's going to end up being around $800 million, I believe. And it's going to have a canopy up top to reduce noise and light pollution, so it doesn't, I guess, disrupt the neighborhood that and the Evanston area, which I think is great. I think it's anything to kind of keep that noise in the structure itself. It's only going to add to the atmosphere for sure. And it almost has the mock-ups that I've seen. Almost has very much like a European football, European soccer vibe to it, structure-wise. And it's going to have comfortable seats, and they're going to have these high-tech scoreboards, and it's going to be, I think that there's going to be a chance that it's something that we haven't really seen at other places. And it's another great thing about Ryan Field, the new one, is going to be the concessions from local restaurants. I think that only benefits the area surrounding the stadium and only benefits Evanston to kind of, especially for visiting fans that don't really get to experience the, I guess, cuisine of the Evanston area. Well, when they go to a Northwestern football game on the road, they're going to get that opportunity. And then they're also going to have a really, really cool green space outside the stadium for tailgating. That'll be interesting. You're starting to see schools and teams start to do that more and more just to enhance the game day atmosphere. And I think that that's a tremendous idea for Northwestern to add that. Also, with how expensive the stadium is, it's going to house some other sports, and it's going to house concerts as well. And I think that's awesome. I think anytime that a school has a chance to bring other entertainment to the stadium, it can be just another great reason to get people onto your campus, see what you're about. Can be a great money maker for the city of Evanston, and I think that I really love that idea to have concerts in this new stadium. But yeah, we as we mentioned before, old Ryan Field will be demolished after the 2023 season, and the new one will open by 2026. I think Northwestern's still nailing down what the plan is for where to play in the gap there, that 2024, 2025, those back-to-back seasons. But all in all, I think that this generates a lot of excitement around the program. I think it'll be a great tool in recruiting going forward. And I think it shows a commitment to football, which I think is very, very valuable. And I think that it's a way that in this new era of NIL, of transfer portal, of realignment, where you're seeing some schools kind of have to make tough decisions on whether to commit to football or not. I think this is a clear message that Northwestern is going to commit to football, and I think that that is huge. I think that's awesome, and I think that it's only going to bring benefits that we've probably never seen to Northwestern football and to the program, and I think that there's going to be positives that probably we can't even fathom right now that we will see play out over time with this new facility, and I think that's really going to be a lot of fun to watch. So in a second here, we're going to talk about what Fitz had to say about it, but first, we're going to talk about our friends at Built Bar. If you haven't tried Built Bar Puffs yet, you're depriving yourself of one of life's greatest joys. And guess what? There's a new flavor. Ready? Delicious, indulgent cookie dough. Covered in chocolate, that's right, Built has done it again. Let me introduce you to your new favorite. Cookie dough chunk puffs have a light and chewy texture, real cookie dough chunks, and of course, they're 100% real chocolate. All of the joys of eating cookie dough without the hassle of making it. Plus, it's healthy for you. Cookie dough chunk puffs are only 160 calories, and they have a whopping 15 grams of protein in them. Run to Built.com to snag a box for you and the family. It'll be the perfect treat where you can find a really good hiding place and just hoard them for yourself. Like all Built bars, the new cookie dough chunk puff is covered in 100% real chocolate. That means they're healthy and tasty. Chocolate covered cookie dough with a light, fluffy texture. So good. What's great about Built is that all of their bars are made with collagen protein, which your body absorbs more efficiently and provides tons of health benefits. Eat something that tastes good and is good for you. You're going to love the new cookie dough chunk puff. Whether you need a snack for your workout, a late night treat, or just need to grab a quick bite, Built is the perfect protein bar, and they taste better than a candy bar. Ditch the calories, fat, and sugar. Grab yourself a Built bar. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKEDON15, and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKEDON15. All right. So as we continue to talk about Ryan Field, let's take a look at what Fitz had to say about it, because in the pressers that I've watched this year, I don't think that there is anything that I've seen excite him more than what Ryan Field is going to look like here in 2026. And first off, right off the bat, he opened the presser and thanked the Ryan family. I mean, he was thankful, called it amazing generosity. He's excited. He echoed that it's going to be a huge thing for Evanston. It's going to be great for Evanston. It's going to be huge for Chicagoland. And I mean, I think it's just something that is helping, giving him the chance to talk about it almost put him in a really, really, really good mood heading into the week, it seemed like. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's impressive, what this structure is going to be. And it's clear when you listen to Pat Fitzgerald talk about it, just how much it's going to mean to his program. I mean, he was literally asked, what does it mean? And his response was everything. It means everything to this program. He said, for the first time in Northwestern football's history, they're going to have a home field advantage. And that's huge. That's huge because the way it's being, the way the architecture is working, the way it's being designed is going to enhance the home field advantage in ways that we've never seen at Northwestern before. And it's an incredible opportunity for the program. It's going to be a hub for the Evanston community, and the rest of the community surrounding, and it's going to be big for campus, and the campus and the community around need it, and it's going to be that big of a deal for the area around Northwestern. Uh, he said, like, as much as the community needs it, the players deserve it. And I think that's the biggest thing here is like creating a home field advantage, creating a really, really cool environment for your players, for your students, for the community. That's what this is all about. I mean, he said that when it's done right, these 35,000 fans, it's going to be the best atmosphere in the country. He said 35,000 done right and done the way that they're going to do it is going to be louder than 100,000 or however many fans you have in some of these other stadiums like Happy Valley or Texas A&M or Alabama or LSU or all these other the Big House, all these other massive stadiums. And he says that, look, this stadium, it's going to set the precedent for stadiums around college football on other campuses. I mean, it's going to set the standard for community engagement in college towns all over the country. And I mean, again, he came back to none of this would be possible without the institutional support for football and the generosity from the Ryan family. He did say that other families are going to be involved and they're going to help fund it. But the fact that this whole thing is funded privately is a huge, huge deal for this Northwestern program. It shows that commitment. He said it's a long time coming. Northwestern football has deserved something like this, and they're finally going to get it. But it cannot. He kept reiterating this. It cannot happen with the way he put it was without relentless support and generosity. And it's going to improve Evanston. It's going to improve the student experience, and it's going to improve the home field advantage. It's going to be something cool to recruit to get new talent on campus at Evanston, at Northwestern. It's going to be all positives from a football program perspective. And the way that Pat Fitzgerald lit up talking about it was truly cool. It's cool to watch. It got me very excited just listening to him talk about it. And yeah, I mean, I just think that it's going to be a unique place when it's unveiled in 2026 that there probably won't be a football stadium in America like it. And I think that Northwestern's ability to say that is really, really, really cool. And I can't wait to see what it looks like. I know Fitz is pumped. I know the program is pumped. I know the athletic department is pumped. I know Northwestern fans and Northwestern students are excited. And yeah, it's going to be exciting to see how it all plays out from there. I think that's going to do it for today. Tomorrow, we're going to look at Wisconsin and the transition that they are going through, to say the least. It's definitely something that was unexpected when Saturday ended. But here we are, a new coach, firing a coach, an interim coach. So it'll be interesting to talk about that tomorrow, talk about this Wisconsin team, what to expect. Probably Thursday, going to have some sort of try to reach out to the Locked On Wisconsin, the Locked On Badgers guys, and see if we could set up a crossover. I think that'd be a lot of fun, kind of like we did last week with Penn State. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for today. Thank you for making Locked On Northwestern your first listen every day. We're available wherever you get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever. We're also on YouTube. Just search Locked On Northwestern. Make sure you subscribe wherever you listen. Turn on notifications. Leave a comment, a review. We'd love to get your feedback. We'd love to make the show better however we can. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fun week. I really do. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're going to have some fun episodes here. I'm your host, Carter Bird. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at CarterBird13. And if you're a Big Ten fan, you really need to know what your team is up against across the Big Ten with Locked On Big Ten. Every day, host Nate Dickinson and the local experts of Locked On take you across the country in 30 minutes. Make Locked On Big Ten your second listen. Locked On Big Ten.